Welcome to the Town of Derry Planning Board meeting for July 8th, 2026. We start our meetings with a Pledge of Allegiance. If you're able, please rise and join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Since we have folks in the audience, I will remind you of the emergency exits, which is at the rear of the room, the way you came in. If there's an alarm activation, the exit to my right, to your left at the front of the room will also be usable. However, the elevators will not be. If you need assistance with mobility issues, please wait for the first responders to come to your assistance. We continue to voluntarily allow remote participation in our meetings. If any member of the board is remote, then all votes shall be by roll call. To attend the meeting remotely, using a computer or a smartphone, visit www.zoom.us, enter meeting ID 754-663-912. You may also call in by phone for audio only by calling 646-558-8656, same meeting ID, 754-663-912. If you have technical problems getting into the meeting, please call 603-845-5585. If you're on the phone and you want to speak, hit star 9 to raise your hand, and once you are recognized and instructed to do so, hit star 6 to unmute yourself. I will now introduce the members and staff who are present this evening. To my far right is our newly appointed alternate, Mr. Young. Welcome. Congratulations. Hope you'll have fun with us. Alternate, Mr. Mousy.
Good evening, Mr. Chair.
Planning Director, Ms. Robidoux.
Good evening.
Planning Intern, Ms. Burrell.
Good evening.
And our Planning Clerk, Ms. Wilson. Town Council Liaison, Mr. Chase.
Good evening.
Member Mr. Minervini, Mr. Wood, member Mr. Minervini, Vice Chairman Mr. O'Connor.
Welcome.
Way over to the far left is our DerryCAM coordinator, Mr. Preventure, our Deputy Director of Public Works, Mr. LaRue.
Good evening.
Member Mr. Fishman.
Good evening.
Town Administrator's Representative Mr. Churchello.
Good evening.
Member Mr. Pelletier.
Good evening.
Secretary Mr. Malaby.
Hello.
I'm Dave Nelson. I'm the chair. First item of business is a couple of matters of escrow. We have item number 26-22 for 62 Lane Road, McMaster Development.
Okay. This is for a two-lot subdivision. The developer is McMaster Development. This is a cash escrow. Parcel ID is 06059, 62 Lane Road. The request is to establish cash escrow in the amount of $13,193.38 for the above noted project. This escrow will be non-interest bearing.
Okay?
Mr. Chair, I so move.
Second.
Been moved by O'Connor, seconded by Malaby to accept the escrow as presented. Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Mr. Wood.
Yes.
Mr. Minervini.
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor.
Yes.
Mr. Fishman.
Yes.
Mr. Churchello.
Yes.
Pelletier.
Yes.
Mr. Malaby.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Next item is number 22-23 for 18 Crystal Avenue, Oracle Development.
Okay, this is for the redevelopment of the former Rite Aid on Crystal Avenue. The developer is Oracle Construction and Development. It is also a cash escrow. Parcel ID and location is parcel 30096, 18 Crystal Avenue. The request is to establish cash escrow in the amount of $10,559.88 for the above noted project. This escrow will be non-interest bearing.
And Mr. Chair, seeing nobody rise, I'll move to accept.
Second.
Moved by O'Connor, seconded by Malaby to accept the escrow as presented. Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Mr. Wood.
Yes.
Mr. Minervini.
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor.
Yes.
Mr. Fishman.
Yes.
Mr. Churchello.
Yes.
Pelletier.
Yes.
Mr. Malaby.
Yes.
And chair votes yes. Now we move on to Approval of minutes. We have before us the minutes of June 17th, 2026. Has everyone had a chance to review those? Are there any errors or omissions?
Again, Mr. Chair, nobody moving forward. I move to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Moved by O'Connor, seconded by Malaby to accept the minutes of June 17th, 2026 as written. Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Mr. Wood.
Yes.
Mr. Minivini.
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor.
Yes.
Mr. Fishman.
Abstain, I was not present.
Mr. Churchill.
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier.
Yes.
Mr. Malaby.
I will also abstain as I was not here.
And the chair votes yes. Correspondence.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yep, we have 2 pieces of correspondence today. The first is in your packet is the quarterly change of use update. These are businesses in Derry which have, as the name suggests, changing their use, and we're happy to say we're welcoming 5 new businesses into the town. And we also have the latest and greatest issue of New Hampshire Town and City here. We had received in our online packet just a notification that it was coming. This article features some information on cybersecurity updates and property tax abatements. So if that's your thing, this is the issue you want.
And so the real hard copy can be found in the planning office.
It may.
I'm glad we get one.
Thank you,
For a while there, we
Caroline.
weren't, right?
No, we weren't.
Oh, okay. Glad that's fixed. Do we have any other business? Looks like we do not. Planning Director and Chairman updates.
Okay, so we're on summer schedule, so our next meeting is August 5th, and then following that, we'll go back to our 2 meetings a month. I did want to remind everyone that the Housing Needs Survey is up, and it's still available until July 12th. They extended the date a little bit. We've got it posted on the town website. It's on all of our social medias, so please feel free to go find that, hit the QR code, and fill out the survey. It takes about maybe 8 to 10 minutes, and we really do want to hear from all age demographics what you're looking for types of housing. Additionally, if the board would like, if you could let me know your pleasure, either September or October, we could ask Sylvia Von Olick to come in and do that plan training, like how to read a plan. She's happy to do that for us. We just need to give her some dates.
So, yeah, I really recommend that. I took it up at their headquarters in Concord, and I nicknamed it Coloring with Plans. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun, and it's very eye-opening in terms of how to organize all the different features on a technical plan set. So I would recommend that.
Okay.
If we have some dates available.
So whatever, we would do it during a planning board meeting, so whatever would suit your needs or pleasure.
Okay, if we have a light agenda, yeah, we can do that.
Okay, all right.
Anything else?
Not for me, no.
So I don't have anything because we currently have a full roster of members and alternates. Yay! Thank you for signing up. And we'll move on to our public hearings. First is Brian and Laura Real Estate, LLC, parcel ID 35014-005, 20 Folsom Road.
Okay. The applicants have operated the existing car wash known as Royalty for almost 30 years. The use has been in existence since I think the 70s and predates zoning. The widening of Folsom Road associated with the Exit 4A project reduced the property's existing front setback by approximately 30 feet. In 2024, the applicant acquired about 530 square feet from the adjacent former Salvation Army lot through coordination with New Hampshire DOT, and that area is reflected on this plan. The state of New Hampshire installed a gravel service road to the southwest side of the property, and this area will be used as the major point of egress for the site. This necessitates the relocation of the existing vacuums. Neither Highway Safety nor Conservation Commission review were required for this project. The applicants obtained a variance from the fire marshal to move the propane filling tank to its existing location. The 3 tunnel bays will remain, and one of the 2 existing detail bays will be removed. The detail bay will be managed and operated by Royalty staff. Vending machines will move adjacent to the discontinued detail bay, and the 8 vacuums will move against the wall of the existing building. The sign for the business has already been moved, and the dumpster and shed are proposed to be moved to new locations that are outside the traffic flow areas. Access to the site is from Folsom Road through an 83-foot wide existing curb cut. Most trips generated by the site are expected to be pass-by trips and are therefore not anticipated to significantly increase traffic volumes in the corridor. Vehicles will enter the site from Folsom and circulate to the rear of the site into the wash bays. Customers utilizing the propane tank or the vacuums will turn left to those service areas, and customers at those locations will exit via the service road. Customers who just utilize the wash bays will exit to Folsom via the right-only exit. The median does not permit a left turn out of the site from this location. It appears there's adequate parking on site for staff and customers. Derry regulations do not include a parking calculation for a car wash use, so the board will need to make a finding of fact with regard to parking. Stormwater needs were addressed, and a drainage report is included in the application. The existing driveway opening interrupts the public sidewalk, which is proposed as part of the highway construction. The driveway is intended to accommodate 1 lane in and 1 lane out for the car wash operations. The town is requesting the installation of a raised median island within the existing curb to establish separate entrance and exit lanes. It would be 27 feet on the side closest to the PD and 24 feet to the side closest to the propane tank. The intent is to accommodate pedestrian movements and comply with ADA requirements. An 83-foot uninterrupted driveway opening increases pedestrian risk when pedestrians are required to cross a large, undefined, and unprotected vehicular area. The proposed median narrows and defines the pedestrian crossing location while reducing conflict zones between pedestrians and vehicles. The proposed configuration is consistent with accepted access management principles and presents a safer and more efficient access arrangement than the existing unchanneled curb cut. The state of New Hampshire currently owns the right-of-way where the pedestrian refuge off-site improvements are proposed. The land will not revert back to the town of Derry until the completion of the current phase of construction. The off-site improvements are recommended by the Director of Public Works and the Engineering Coordinator. Staff has requested authorization from DOT to construct the proposed pedestrian refuge island within the state right-of-way prior to completion of the Exit 4A project. At this time, I don't believe we had a response from DOT on that. We do. Okay, and I'll let Jordan speak to that. An interim solution would be to stripe a gore area of diagonal striping, creating a visual barrier between the entrance and the exit lanes. There's an example of that. That's the handout that was just provided to you right before the meeting. There's also a smaller copy on page 4 of your packet. This would need to be striped with thermoplastic paint for durability, and we do understand that this would be an ongoing maintenance item for the landowner. Staff also noted potential vehicle and pedestrian conflicts near the relocated vacuum stations and propane filling area where maneuvering space is limited. These areas should be carefully evaluated to minimize conflicts between circulating vehicles and pedestrians. Several waivers are being requested as part of the checklist items. This is an existing site containing existing nonconformities, and the waivers are being presented to bring the site into conformity as much as possible. We do recognize that, it is what it is, and, they're doing the best they can with what they have to work with here. So the waivers would be to allow parking spaces closer than 10 feet to the property line, to allow the parking spaces to be less than 9 by 20, allow a one-way drive aisle to be less than 18 feet wide, to not require a landscape plan, to allow the screen dumpster to be closer than 25 feet to the property line, and to allow the one-way drive aisles to the wash bays to be less than 11 feet wide. The recommendation would be to review the plan as presented, determine regional impact, and to discuss the proposed off-site improvements and determine if the pedestrian refuge island is the best solution for the site or to go with the alternative. So Jordan Young is here to present.
Mr. Roboto,
Yep.
that's a fairly detailed and extensive set of comments. These are the sort of things I would expect to have been resolved during TRC discussions. Were they discussed and not resolved, or are they occurring after that completion?
The off-site improvement issue came up during TRC discussions. The issue that we're running into, and Mark and Jordan can speak to this maybe a little bit better than I can, but the issue we're running into is that may be the safest thing to do, but we don't own that. The property owner doesn't own that section. The state owns it right now. So until it reverts back to the town, like we can recommend, but we can recommend.
So this is another one of those issues where the state moves at its own speed with respect to the 4A
Yes.
project, and some of those things are still up in the air. Is that?
That is correct. So
Okay.
we're trying to present what we think is option A. This is like probably the best thing, and in a perfect world, this would be the best solution for everything. Option B is we're working with what we got and we're trying to make it as safe as possible. So that might be the best solution. But once again, I'll let Mark speak to that.
All right, so we'll probably have to have a little extra discussion on that, because it's pick one from A or B or C.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So at this point, can I have a motion on jurisdiction?
Mr. Chair, I move to accept jurisdiction of the amended site plan before the board for Brian and Laura Real Estate LLC, PID 35014-00520 Folsom Road.
Second.
Moved by O'Connor, seconded by Malamy to accept jurisdiction. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Minovini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Chiricello?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Malamy?
Yes.
And chair votes yes. And on the determination of a regional impact, we usually defer to Mr. Chase on this one. You want to make a motion, Randy?
Regional impact.
Regional impact.
Regional
I
impact.
know regional impact. Usually
You're
somebody
the
else makes a
Mr.
motion.
Regional Impact guy on the board.
I know middle name. So pursuant to RSA 36:56, the board finds the proposal as presented at this time meets the definition of a development of regional impact.
Second.
Okay, it's moved by Chase, seconded by Malamy to determine regional impact. Mr. Chase?
No, this is a existing use that is just being reconfigured due to the expansion of Exit 4A and does not meet the definition of a regional impact.
Mr. Wood?
No, for the same reasons.
Mr. Minovini?
No, for the same reasons.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes, I agree with Mr. Chase.
Mr. Fishman?
No, for the same reasons.
Mr. Chiricello?
No, same reason.
Mr. Pelletier?
No, for the same reasons.
Mr. Malamy?
No, for the same reasons as
And
Mr.
the chair votes
Chase.
no for the same reasons. Can I have a motion to open the public hearing?
Mr. Chair, I move to open the public hearing.
Second.
Moved by O'Connor, seconded by Malamy to open the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is opened. Gentlemen, you may present what little detail has not already been read to us.
Good evening. I'm Jordan Young with Atlantic Civil Engineering. I'm sitting here with Brian Messina, and Laura is behind us. They are the owners of Royalty Car Wash. And thank you, Liz. I can cross off most of my intro. Saved me. So I guess if we can pull up sheet 3C-200, I think that would be the best place to look. So as you can see, the right-of-way is encroached on their property. The state purchased it from the owners. The building is now about 40 feet from the new right-of-way line. We'll dive into the curbed island stuff because that'll be most of our conversation. They are proposing to move the vacuum stations, which were on the west side of the property, and now they're up against the buildings. You can see a note that says 6 proposed vac stations, as well as adding a parking space on each side of the propane tank. That's the dark gray area on the southwest corner of the property. Those 2 spaces right there. And then one more addition would be moving the dumpster pad to the northwest corner of the building with 2 spaces next to that as well. They are increasing the amount of parking spaces. They wanted more parking spaces to be able to, for employees and people drying off, because they're losing a big portion of the front of their property, which weren't really defined parking spaces, but now they're more defined. As for that, we have the service road on the left side of the property, which was installed by the state, and that will be an exit only for vehicles that travel out of the wash bays, the long tunnel. They have to turn right from their perspective and exit out that entrance, or sorry, that exit. There's 4 bays on the right side. They're self-serve bays. They will be allowed to exit to Folsom Road. And you can see right there, it's a right turn only lane. They cannot turn left, as Liz said. The entrance is just on the other side of that, divided by the curbed island. So if we can get into that curbed island, that right-of-way is owned by the state right now. Until construction is completed of that Folsom Road widening, the town, correct me if I'm wrong, the town does not have jurisdiction to enforce any structures inside of the right-of-way that were not previously approved. So our solution was to provide paint, which would block off that same area and direct traffic towards the exit. It doesn't stop vehicles from entering and going to the propane, but that would be the only time they would cross in front of the building. Everything else goes behind the building, around, enter any of the bays that they wish to enter, and then exit out to the service road. Other than that, I can take any questions to clarify anything.
All right, do we have any questions starting off from members of the board? Seeing none, is there anyone in the audience or online who has questions or comments?
Seeing none rise at this time.
Okay, so back to the board. Anyone have any questions? No? All right. Yep, Mr. Chase.
I have one. So can you just clarify, so if somebody's coming in just for propane,
Yeah.
where are they going to enter?
They're going to enter from Folsom Road. and
Yes,
they would-
Folsom Road, which entrance?
The right side, that's the only entrance.
Okay, so there's enough, that
7
17-foot
feet.
space is where they would cut across?
Correct.
Okay.
So I want to state that this is, 95% of their traffic is a car wash. They
Yes.
are a car wash that also serves propane refill.
Yeah.
There's maybe 8 or 9 cars a day that get propane. That's on average. Obviously, weekends is a lot more heavy. Weekdays are very minuscule compared to that. So we average about, I think we said 9 or 10 actually, 9 or 10 vehicles. That would cross in front. And the only conflict is those 4 bays on the right side that are exiting to Folsom Road, which we believe that it's rarely going to happen when someone's exiting at the same time as one of those 9 or 10 vehicles that enters for the day. And if they can't, they can always turn around. It's not going to be an issue from the owner's view. That's the best, safest plan that we have, and we believe will work.
Okay. And there's nothing, if this shows vehicles queued to get into a bay or the tunnel or whatever, if there's nothing queued, there's nothing, they can go around the backside if it's opened up.
They
Traffic
do
backed
have
up.
the option to go around the back, but you can see right below, just to the south of the exit to the service road, there's a do not enter sign. Cars cannot go to the propane station because it would cause more congestion there. If they were allowed full 360 access, there would be a bunch of congestion and traffic jam. So we put a do not enter sign. There's a painted arrow on the ground. One way you exit from the top, one way and you exit.
So so your 2 parking spaces on either side of the propane tank,
Yes.
are those going to be pulled through? There's nothing to stop it from the service road?
No, you won't be able to pull.
It's not paved.
No, it's not.
No, okay, so if somebody is in that, one of those parking spaces
Yeah.
getting propane,
Yeah.
they don't have to come back out into your lanes. They can go out onto
No.
They
service road? Or is there something blocking them from doing that?
would have to back out, and
Yeah.
There might be curb stops or something, but obviously we would prefer not to do that for plowing reasons.
Which brings me to my next point. If somebody accidentally or by not knowing went into the service road to get propane, they wouldn't be able to pull into one of those parking spaces there. They'd have to come back out onto Folsom Road or just
Yes,
stop
correct.
in the service road and walk over. Until they get to those do not enter signs, they have no idea that they can't get over there for the propane tanks.
They cannot enter the site through the service road, if that,
That's my point. So if somebody, by not knowing, went into the service road because it's the closest to the propane tanks,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden they get up, oh no, do not enter,
yeah,
they have to go back out onto Folsom or,
they would have to turn around, yes.
so in other words, they have no warning that they cannot get to the propane tanks from Folsom Road via the service
In other
road.
words, there's no do not enter signage at the interface to
At the
Folsom.
intersection of Folsom, no, we're not proposing that, because I believe there's future plans, but as of right now, for what this site has, our do not enter signs have to be right before our property. We don't know what they're doing with the service road when it gets turned over, but has nothing to do with our property, but
All right, so the service road belongs to who? The state?
I believe it's the state.
Yes.
state.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it could be different in the future.
Will be different in the future.
It could be different in the future once it's done, right? Because you've got I'm looking at Stenson Hill in the back, that's an entryway.
It's under the jurisdiction of the state, as he stated, like to work in the right-of-way. And then all of the state right-of-way will revert to the town right-of-way when the project's complete.
Right.
But we don't know when that complete date is, which is kind of the difficult aspect of trying to do the hard feature with the sidewalk, because the state is in contract with Weaver Brothers to do the work. It's under jurisdiction of the state. And even when all of this work is complete in this phase, I don't believe that the state will release the jurisdiction until the final phase C is complete, which could be 5 to 7 years away.
Yeah, didn't I hear like a 2038?
Last I knew it was 2036.
Okay.
Oh, I don't think I'll be around.
I don't know if it'll be that far along, but it is delayed a bit for the bike path tunnel.
All right, so we should not make any short-term plans there. All right.
I was just going to piggyback on Mr. Chase. So will people continue to use that service road and then find out when they're halfway through that they can't get in, so they're going to be turning around? Are you going to get a lot of that?
Unfortunately, we don't have any control over the service road. It's not our property.
They would most likely pull in the entrance anyways, which is a normal entrance to our facility right now. I think they're all used to coming in that way now.
So like where you are now, you'd come in and then you'd take a left, right?
Yeah,
You're
and
cutting
they go right
across that
the
little
front.
small.
Yeah, which is what they've been doing for 30 years.
But because you got limited space there, you got a lot of, you do a pretty good business over there. I see it, the cars coming through all the time. So when they're exiting, they're coming straight out, correct?
Yeah, but what you're seeing, when you're seeing a lot of flow, is the tunnel wash, which is the left side, which they're going to have to U-turn to the right. The one, like Jordan said before, the 4 other bays, those are self-serve and in-bay automatics. The flow out of them is 1 car maximum per 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So the likelihood of 4 cars every 5 minutes is probably minimal.
Okay.
So let me suggest that before we end the public hearing that members review the waivers, and if there are questions regarding the waivers, maybe we do those now. Mr. Mousy?
Yes, I have a question, sorry. But I'll make mine short. So if I'm following the rules and I'm going through correctly, and I'm coming out the service road, which is a little bit further down on Folsom Road, am I also only allowed to turn right? Or can I turn left there too?
Right. Coming out?
So I'm coming out your service
Yeah,
road?
that's right only, because that's
So that's gonna be right only as well?
That's Folsom
Okay,
Road,
perfect.
yeah.
Okay, yep, okay.
Unless they put a traffic light there.
Okay, just want to make sure they were all set.
That's what they're working on.
I'm sorry?
Please ensure proximity to the microphone.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
So here's a microphone skill that I learned early in my days of doing sound and lights. If you do not hear yourself coming back through the PA system, the audience is not going to get a good read. So don't try to work from here, because then the guy on the mixer will just raise the level and we'll get feedback. So don't be afraid of the microphone, please. Is that good, Mr. Preventure?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Any other questions from the board?
Yeah.
Does that raise any other questions from anyone in the audience? No? Then maybe we have a motion to close the public hearing?
Mr. Chair, I so move.
Second.
Moved by O'Connor, seconded by Malaby to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Public hearing is closed. On the matter of the waivers, do we want to deal with these individually?
Sure.
Okay. Who would like to make motions on the waivers? Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move to grant a waiver from LDCR Section 170-63A2 to allow parking spaces closer than 10 feet to the property line. After review of the waiver request, the board finds that specific circumstances relative to the plan or conditions of the land in such plan indicate that the waiver will properly carry out the spirit and intent of the regulations.
Okay, so a motion and second by Malaby and seconded by Pelletier. I will just comment that for all of these, one of the justifying criteria is what the state is doing with this land. So that kind of is an overriding issue.
Yes.
Any other comments on that? If not, we'll poll the board. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Minervini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Churchello?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
Mr. Chair, I move to grant a waiver from LDCR Section 170-63D1 to allow parking spaces to be less than 9 by 12 feet in size. After review of the waiver request, the board finds that specific circumstances relative to the plan or conditions of the land in such plan indicate that the waiver will properly carry out the spirit and intent of the regulations.
Second.
Moved by Malaby, seconded by Pelletier. That just says that they can be less than the required 9 by 20. Do we think we know how big they will be?
I think they're 18.
Yeah, so these refer to existing parking spaces, and they are 9 by 18.
Okay, so maybe we actually want a friendly amendment to put that in there as an as-built. So instead of 9 by 20 as required, there'll be 9 by 18.
Oh, yep.
Any object to
Let's
that?
amend that, yep. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
Any other discussion? Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Minervini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Churchello?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
Mr. Chair, I move to grant a waiver from LDCR Section 170-62B4 to allow the drive aisles leading to the wash bays to be less than 11 feet wide. After review of the waiver request, the board finds the strict conformity to the regulations would pose an unnecessary hardship to the applicant, and the waiver would not be contrary to the spirit and intent of the regulations.
Moved by Malaby, seconded by Pelletier. Again, I would ask, do we know how narrow they will be, in fact?
10 and a half feet.
All right, so maybe we could do the same friendly amendment saying where 11 is required, they will be 10 and a half. Any further discussion? Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Minervini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Churchello?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
Mr. Chair, I move to grant a waiver from LDCR Section 170-63D3 to allow one-way drive aisle to be less than 18 feet wide. After review of the waiver request, the board finds that strict conformity to the regulations would pose an unnecessary hardship to the applicant, and the waiver would not be contrary to the spirit and intent of the regulations.
Second.
Moved by Malaby, seconded by Pelletier. Again, I would ask, do we know the
10 and a
actual?
half.
10 and a half.
Instead of 18, it's 10 and a half?
Yes.
Okay. So where 18 is required, allow them to be 10 and a half. Any other comments? Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Minivini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Churchill?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Malamy?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
Mr. Chair, I move to grant a waiver from LDCR Section 170-64 to not require a landscape plan. After review of the waiver request, the board finds that strict conformity to the regulations would pose an unnecessary hardship to the applicant, and the waiver would not be contrary to the spirit and intent of the regulations.
Second.
Motion by Malamy, seconded by Pelletier to waive requiring a landscape plan. Any comments? Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Minivini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Churchill?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Malamy?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
Mr. Chair, I move to grant a waiver from LDCR Section 170-67B1 to allow the screen dumpster to be closer than 25 feet to the property line. After review of the waiver, after review of the waiver request, the board finds that specific circumstances relative to the plan or conditions of the land in such plan indicate that the waiver will properly carry out the spirit and intent of the regulations.
Second.
Moved by Malamy, seconded by Pelletier to grant a waiver on the location of the dumpster. Any comments? Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Minivini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Churchill?
Yes.
Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Malamy?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
And finally, Mr. Chair, I move to grant a waiver from LDCR Section 170-62B4 to allow one-way drive aisles to the wash bay to be less than 11 feet wide. After review of the waiver request, the board finds that strict conformity to the regulations would pose an unnecessary hardship to the applicant, and the waiver would not be contrary to the spirit and intent of the regulations.
Second.
Moved by Malamy, seconded by Pelletier to grant the waiver. Can I ask, what will the width be?
10 and a half.
All right, so maybe we do a friendly amendment, allow the width to be 10 and a half feet where 11 would normally be required. Any other comments? Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Minivini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Churchill?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Malamy?
Yes.
Chair votes yes.
All right, Mr. Chair, the board finds the proposed plan provides safe and efficient vehicular and pedestrian access, and design and construction of the accessways are adequate to accommodate the anticipated volume of traffic proposed by development. The board finds the proposed parking plan is adequate for the site and meets the parking density requirements for the use. The board finds the stormwater management as proposed is designed to control the post-development runoff so that it does not exceed pre-development runoff. The board makes findings of fact as listed above.
Second.
All right, a motion to make findings of fact by Malamy, seconded by Pelletier. Any questions, discussion? Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Minivini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Churchill?
Yes.
Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Malamy?
Yes.
And chair votes yes.
Mr. Chair, after review and deliberation of the amended site plan application for PID 35014-005, Brian and Laura Real Estate LLC, the board finds the applicant has satisfied the general requirements of the land development control
Can I ask you
regulations, or in cases where the regulation cannot be met, has satisfied the waiver requirements. Therefore, the motion is to approve pursuant to RSA 676:4 Roman 1 completed application with the following conditions. The conditions precedent, subject to owner's signature, establish appropriate escrow as required to complete the project, note approved waivers on the plan, obtain written approval from the planning director designee that the GIS submission is received and is operable and complies with the LDCR section 170-61.c, subject to receipt of applicable state or local permits relating to the project, completion of the suggested off-site improvements to include the pedestrian crossing as noted on the current plan, or addition of appropriate striping at the entrance to be reviewed by the Derry engineering staff. Conditions precedent shall be met within 6 months. And then the conditions subsequent, it's subject to on-site inspection by the town's engineer.
Second.
Moved by Malamy, seconded by Pelletier to grant conditional approval. Mr. LaRue, does the engineering department have any remaining concerns?
Nope.
No concerns, thank you. Okay, any other comments from the board? Discussion? On the, Ms. Robidoux?
Just if we could pick one of the options for item 6.
Right.
Thank you.
We going to make that decision?
That decision needs to be made this evening, because otherwise the applicant doesn't know how to move forward with construction on the site.
Well, given the testimony I've heard, asking for the pedestrian crossing to be constructed in the state right-of-way is not going to happen in any reasonable time. So the striping seems to be the option.
Thank you.
Now, we could ask them to come back in 8 years when the state has relinquished it to town, but I don't know that that makes sense either, so.
Okay, but if we could just like pick one or the other.
All right, so
for that,
we'll
would be
amend that
helpful.
to say,
Thank you.
to include addition of appropriate striping at the entrance to be reviewed by the Derry engineering staff, and remove the reference to the pedestrian crossing.
Thank you.
Right?
Appreciate
Everyone
the
agree with that
clarification.
amendment?
Mhm. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Any other comment? Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Minibini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Churchello?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Malvy?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. And good luck in dealing with all this. We thank you for staying
Patience.
and working through all of that construction nonsense. We appreciate
Your
it.
help.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Our next public hearing is MTM Realty Trust, who's the owner, and GR Development LLC, who's the applicant for parcel ID 35015-002 10 Manchester Road.
The applicant is requesting to demolish the existing multi-tenant commercial building to redevelop the property with the new 4,235 square foot car garage facility known as Washville. The ZBA determined this was a permitted use in the zone commercial service establishment located in the Industrial 2 zoning district and did not require a variance. Highway Safety reviewed the proposal, and Conservation Commission review was not required. The proposed site plan construction includes a 110-foot tunnel wash with 3 wash lanes and 22 vacuum units. The use and construction of this site will require a new gas line from Tinkham Ave and will also connect the existing sewer line directly to the on-site sewer manhole. Connections to existing water service on Tinkham Ave are also required. Through the review process, staff comments have focused primarily on traffic circulation and site access. The original concept plan for this development showed access through the Applebee's site, 14 Manchester Road, via the signalized intersection. To date, the applicant has been unable to secure an easement for this access. Staff required the access through Applebee's be removed from the plan until such time as the easement has been secured. The existing curb cut on Manchester Road is proposed to be discontinued. At the time NHDOT reviewed and approved this request, the plan still showed the access easement through Manchester Road. NHDOT has not provided insight to date as to whether they feel removal of the access easement affects traffic flow onto Manchester Road. The new portion of sidewalk will be constructed along the frontage when the curb cut is discontinued. Parking appears adequate for the use. The board will need to make a finding that it is adequate as the regulations does not have a calculation for car wash. The proposed site design requires vehicles exiting Tinkham Avenue to make an unprotected left turn onto Manchester Road. Staff remains concerned that this movement may present operational and safety challenges during periods of heavier traffic. The traffic study conducted by GPI presented 11 left turns during weekday PM peak and 36 left turns during Saturday midday. The town's peer review engineer was asked to review the plan in relation to staff concerns. Please see the VHB review. At a minimum, staff recommends the applicant continue to seek easement approval to benefit 10 Manchester Road from the landowner at 14 Manchester Road. There are monitoring wells on site, some related to the former Hadco 7 Manchester Road. The remainder were put in place to monitor groundwater following a spill at the former gas station at this location. 2 wells were decommissioned in 2021. They will be cut subgrade as needed. The well to remain located near Manchester Road is noted. The environmental coordinator expressed some concern regarding the soil management process during construction. The development team has indicated they have soils management plan ready if required. The Hood Park watershed management plan revealed Tinkham Ave as a problem area. Stormwater discharge from the roadway's closed drainage system into Shields Brook. The applicant was asked to provide infiltration along Tinkham Ave, which they have done. To address the concern, they added deep sump catch basins. Per their stormwater management report, the stormwater design measures proposed for the project will result in increased stormwater charge, improve stormwater quality, and reduce peak discharge to Tinkham Avenue. The applicant has indicated that the proposed car wash will operate without the use of PFAS-containing cleaning products. The architectural design package is included at the end of the package. The Industrial 2 district requires a medium-high level of compliance. There are 2 waivers for this. The first one is a stormwater design waiver, and the second is to allow dumpsters to be located 5.5 feet from the north property line where 25 feet is required. And then I do these now. Okay. NHDOT issued a permit on March 23rd, 2026 to alter the driveway on Manchester Road to eliminate the curb cut on Manchester Road. DOT confirmed today they are aware there is no access through Applebee's and does not pose any issues to them. Local water and sewer connection permits as necessary. The recommendations are to determine the regional impact and review the proposed site plan and architectural design rendering.
Okay, thank you. Very good. And I want to commend you on the wording of the dumpster waiver, because it indicates what it's going to be, what it's allowed. And I noticed that there are elements there that were not in our printed packet. Updates, stormwater calculation waiver.
That waiver is included in your packet. There's a, I think behind the back of the packet, there should be a page that says Washville additional waiver, and it has the waiver included.
Okay, but it wasn't in the
original.
Staff report.
Yeah, we received the VHB review came in as we were jumbling, so we noticed that they had recommended a waiver, and we thought it would be best if the board reviewed that request.
So I want to drill down onto the late-breaking news about the DOT.
Yes.
Because the staff report says the applicant has been unable to get an easement
Correct.
from Applebee's to use their signalized entrance.
Yes.
And it says that the state DOT has not acknowledged or reviewed that or accepted it.
They did this afternoon. We received word from DOT today. Bob Bollinger, who is handling the traffic for GPI, has been in contact with the state. When the state first reviewed the application, which was about the time that we were starting to do TRC, the plan showed the access going through Applebee's. And so in looking at the plan, the state didn't have any issue noting that people could hit the light at Applebee's and they could go left that way. When we heard that the landowner has not been very responsive about responding to inquiries about finalizing or even obtaining that easement through the Applebee's property, we thought it best to take that off the plan because it's not a condition that they have a legal right to. So that created that we've got that unprotected left turn coming out of Tinkham.
Okay.
Which was there to begin with, but we now don't have the access legally to the light.
Okay, I'm glad to have that clarified, because I was about to vote no on jurisdiction, given that we had that Mexican standoff, so to speak, with the state over access. But since that's been cleared up, I have no objections at this point.
Thank you.
Okay. Having read all that and been pointed to the supplemental material, can we have a motion on jurisdiction?
Mr. Chair, I move to accept. Mr. Chair, I move to accept jurisdiction of the site plan before the board for GR Development PID 35015-002, 10 Manchester Road.
Second.
Moved by Malby, seconded by Pelletier to accept jurisdiction. Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Mr. Wood.
Yes.
Mr. Minivini.
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor.
Mr. Chair, I still got a question
All right, so
of the jurisdiction, taking jurisdiction.
So-
I just want clarification.
I'm sorry, I should have called for discussion. So we'll do the vote over after you have your discussion. I'm sorry.
My question is regarding the easement. If we don't have an official easement from the owners of the Applebee's property, then how can we put our stamp on the plan?
Well, my understanding is that that has been removed from the plan and that the DOT has accepted that. So it's no longer, even though it was in the staff report, it's now overtaken by events.
Okay, so
Is that correct?
with you now.
Ms. Robles?
That's correct. So the staff report was written to provide the history of what happened in the process. The plan as presented to the board this evening does not show an access to Applebee's. That is curbed off.
Okay.
Yep.
But in the future, they would have to come back
If
if there
yes.
is an easement to be able to use that.
Yes, if they're able to obtain that, our discussion with the applicant was if they are able to obtain that easement with Applebee's, then they will come back with a site plan amendment, and they'll remove the curbing there and provide, and show the access
So
through
is
there.
that still in negotiation?
We are, for the record, my name is Frank Doherty with Washville. We're still trying, we just have not succeeded, and
So it could happen in the future?
it could happen. I really
Okay.
can't handicap it as they sit here tonight.
Right, so as Ms. Robles said, if that were to come, then we would have an amended site plan to review.
Yes.
And I just wanted to make sure it was on the record.
Okay, so given that discussion, I'm going to start the vote over again. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Minivini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Churchello?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes.
Mr. Chair, pursuant to RSA 36:56, the board finds the proposal as presented at this time meets the definition of a development of regional impact.
Second.
Moved by Pelletier, by Malaby, seconded by Pelletier to find regional impact. I have a question before we vote on this. I don't know whether you're going to ask the question, Mr. Chase, but it's about water consumption and whether that affects our regional water system. Our water comes through Manchester. Can you guys give us some indication of what the water consumption impact might be of this development?
Sure. We have applied for, and I think the state is reviewing our wastewater discharge permit, which would be about 18,000 gallons a day on the wastewater side. Typically, because we recycle about 60% of our water demand is about 5% higher than that. So do the math in my head, around 21,000 gallons a day of water demand and 18,000 gallons a day of wastewater discharge.
Mr. LaRue, is that a significant impact on Derry's water system?
It isn't.
Mr. Chair.
We're happy to have them use the water.
Mr. Chair, being on the Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission, we had a presentation a while back, and it shows where Manchester is building into the Merrimack itself a very huge system that's going to supplement even more than what they already have. So that's for the future, so it's coming.
Okay. Any other questions? Do you have any questions, Mr. Chase, before we vote?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, then let's take the vote.
No. This is one commercial use replacing another commercial use. It will most likely not be a destination. It will be relying on bypass traffic, so the traffic will not be significantly more. And as we had just discussed, the water consumption will not be out of line with what our system can handle.
Okay. Mr. Wood?
No, for the same reasons as Mr. Chase.
Mr. Minivini?
No for the same reasons.
Mr. O'Connor?
I'll follow suit with no.
Mr. Fishman?
No for the same reasons.
Mr. Chercello?
No regional impact.
Mr. Pelletier?
No for the same reason.
Mr. Maloney?
No, for the same reasons as Mr. Chase.
And Chair will vote no for the same reasons as Mr. Chase. Can I have a vote to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Malby and Pelletier to open the public hearing. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Public hearing is open. So, again, we may have stolen a lot of your thunder, but go ahead and give us your executive presentation.
Excellent, thank you. Good evening. My name is Patrick McLaughlin. I'm a civil engineer with Greenman Peterson, GPI, with a local office here in Salem, New Hampshire, so close by. With me this evening, Frank Doherty with Washville, Jim Waterman, also of Washville, and Bob Bollinger with GPI. I think from the presentation point of view, if we can start on the existing conditions survey plan, that will be helpful, and then this will be a great exhibit thereafter. While we scroll to that, I'll clarify a couple. One item, I believe, and will fact check myself as I review this plan. I think on the staff memo, it lists the property, or the building size as 4235, and I think it's for 4325 square feet. So just to clarify that for the record. In the memo, there's 3 wash lanes. I want to clarify that is 3 pay lanes to ultimately condense to 1 wash lane, and I'll describe that when I discuss site circulation. And then to clarify, 22 vacuum units service 20 available parking spaces to vacuum a vehicle. So those were a few clarifications I wanted to make. So on the existing conditions plan, if we can go, it should be the 3rd sheet of the PDF set.
Yeah, can I ask you to help me with spatial issues? Identify this building that is being demoed?
Yeah, so the corner of Tinkham and Manchester Road has a few uses in it historically. Most notably is probably Enterprise. And so that sits, just downhill, if you will, down gradient along Manchester Road from the Applebee's site. The Applebee's sits at the Signal. This is just south of that towards Folsom, in the direction of the project that you just discussed previously. Tinkham comes out to Manchester Road, currently at an existing break in the median, and is one of the only spots along there where there is allowed a break in that center median. There's some other uses down Tinkham as well, but overall it's a relatively small adjacent street to the main corridor there on Manchester Road. So there's is this mic intermittent, or am I doing all right? I'm trying to talk right to it. All right, great. There's an existing multi-use building on the property now. There's an existing right-in, right-out driveway along the center of the frontage of Manchester Road that will be closed off. Basically, the entire frontage of Tinkham Ave is a wide open cut right now, if you will, with parking essentially encroaching into the town right-of-way on Tinkham. And so you'll see how all of that gets narrowed up, curbed off, and well-defined as a proposed curb cut. There is an existing historical cross-connection between the existing uses on this subject property and to the Applebee's through a good amount of research there. We have identified that all rights associated with that are no longer in position, so those have all expired. To say, I guess, that neither party has contested that it continues to be used is our best summation as it relates to the historical aspect of that. I think that color site plan was great, if we can move to that. Thank you. Yep, so you'll see here now that the proposal closes off the existing curb cut along Manchester Road. We provide a new pedestrian sidewalk connection there as well. The entire frontage along Tinkham now gets closed off to just provide a sole full access driveway the furthest distance down our Tinkham frontage, so moving that access point away from the intersection at the main road. So entering vehicles would come in if a customer is choosing to go through the tunnel wash. They would take a right and enter into one of the 3 queuing lanes for the automated pay lanes. So those are a first come, first serve scenario. So some folks might be on the pass program at which it's going to scan your window tag and allow you through. Other folks might be making a one-time transaction. Either way, whichever transaction comes first, the gates of each respective lane open, and that essentially meters the queue from the pay point forward, so that the 3 lanes condense to a single 18-foot wide one-way towards the entrance of the car wash. Everything is circulating here in a counterclockwise motion. You'd come down through a single bay of a tunnel and exit at the bottom of the page. Again, all traffic continuing to make left-hand turns. If a customer is choosing to make a stop at the vacuums, they could turn into the centrally located vac facilities, or they could proceed back out to Tinkham and be on their way. Conversely, if a customer was coming in and wanted to use the vac facilities first, that is 2-way, to allow that to happen. You'll see a 1-way arrow to the left of that stop bar, which is headed back towards the tunnel exit. So from a certain point, that bottom access way is noted with do not enters to facilitate. Where the cursor is now is an emergency bypass. So you've already paid for your wash if you've made it to that point. So we provide 2 bypass scenarios in the event that if there's a service issue at the roller or the tunnel, and customers need to be taken out of the queue in order to, get maybe 1 vehicle out or something like that. There's opportunities to bypass down and through the vacuums out of the queue. Similarly, there's a bypass lane around the far side of the building that also will allow employees who park in the top left corner of this plan to exit the site at the end of their shift. So that's the general site orientation. This has been, as the staff memo noted, reviewed with the highway safety. We've gone through TRC, so we've adequately, addressed site circulation in terms of fire apparatus and fire access and circulation through the site. The vacuums are centrally located and condensed to a sole purpose utilitarian type area in the middle of the property, landscape perimeter around the outsides. I'll note the location of the trash enclosure kind of again in that top left corner. As the staff memo noted, we are requesting a waiver for the location of that. There's a few reasons why that ended up there. One, the redevelopment of the site. One of our aims was to really provide more green space perimeter. We talked about how we closed things off along both frontages, significantly reduced impervious coverage with this redevelopment. There's that potential for the future cross connection. So the bottom left corner of this plan view wanted to remain vacant from any obstructions. And so we looked at a few spots and ultimately with access and circulation for the trash vehicle, that spot up top made the most sense. There's also, it would be a little tough to indicate, but if you look on the Applebee's side of the plan, those diagonal lines coming down indicate an existing sewer easement that does traverse this property, comes down below the new car wash building and then turns along that access road. It's underneath my hatch patterns on this version of the plan, but that was another area that was encumbered that we needed to keep, certain site features out of. And so we thought, working with staff, that trash enclosure location was the most reasonable for all factors considered. Typical stormwater and new utility connections. Staff memo, again, notes. So we won't have any trenching out in Manchester Road for any new utility hookups. Sewer can actually be reconnected via existing infrastructure within the property boundaries. Water will be a new connection on Tinkham. There'll be an overlay of the Tinkham roadway associated with that trench work. That's been discussed and coordinated with DPW. Gas comes off of Tinkham as well via a new service, and electric runs along the bottom boundary via some overhead that actually does come through an easement currently and services Applebee's. So there'll be a little bit of relocating and working with the utility company to realign some electrical easements as needed. But so that's the run through of all the utility hookups. Stormwater, again, the approach was to significantly reduce impervious coverage. So we came in somewhere around, I want to say 9,500 square feet of reduction in impervious coverage for redevelopment. So that aims to provide additional groundwater recharge just by increasing green space areas. Everything in existing condition kind of flows in an uncontrolled manner out that that unrestricted curb cut and just goes into the right of way and down into the roadway system. So we capture everything now with a closed drainage system, deep sump catch basins with hooded outlets, and through a hydrodynamic separator unit before we connect physically into the roadway system. And so there's been improvements to stormwater as well. As it relates to stormwater, the one waiver that did come in that it sounds like is in the back of your packets is for one of the LDCR criteria specific to the stormwater. Happy to answer questions. Oh, and I'm not an architect, but the architectural is at the end of the packet, and we're certainly happy to review that with you as well.
Okay. Questions from the board? Mr. O'Connor?
Yeah, my question to you is, can you go over a little bit about the soil contamination in the wells that I'm assuming you took samples of?
Sure. So this site is across from the contamination site across Manchester Road, and it's down gradient of that contamination. And there are wells on location for two purposes. One is relating to that contaminated site across the street. And those wells, this is a great picture here. Those wells are just pretty close to the right-of-way along Manchester Road. There's 3 wells, so they're outside the limit of our work, and therefore will not disturb them. Second second contamination issue that historically has been presented was way back when this was a gas station. And there's some record information of some previous underground storage tanks. We couldn't locate them in the environmental site assessment that we did. But out of respect for that historical knowledge and concerns for the town, we've agreed to monitor during construction the soils. And typically you would do that with, it's called a PID, or it's a meter that you would understand the volatile organic content in the soil as you move it around. If you hit a certain threshold, then you've triggered a notification with the state to manage that contaminated soil if it exists at all. So what the town has said is, please do a soil management plan, anticipating that may occur, and if so, what's the proper procedure? So we've agreed to do that. There may be no contamination there at all, but if there is, we're well armed to deal with it appropriately and take any measures needed to control it, and we're working with the town on that.
Good, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions? So just to get an idea of hours of usage and traffic flow, are you familiar with the Washville site on Loudon Road in Concord?
Yes.
So can you let us know, what has your experience been there in terms of when people use it, you know, how many trips per day, things like that?
I'm going to actually ask Jim Waterman from Washville. Actually, yeah, and we'll have Bob Bollinger, our traffic engineer, speak to that. All right, well,
good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the board. For the record, Bob Bollinger, a professional engineer with Greenman Peterson, here this evening on behalf of the applicant. I can give you a broad answer, but I do want to let you know, since you specifically asked about the Concord, New Hampshire site, how we developed. We've been doing a lot of work with Washville over the years, and in order to come up with a more realistic trip generation estimate for their sites, for this particular project, we actually surveyed 3 existing Washville sites, one in Methuen, Massachusetts, one in Tingsboro, Massachusetts, and the third being on Loudon Road in Concord, New Hampshire. So that kind of gives us an aggregate base. There's a procedural method to the madness, if you will. If you're going to collect local data, you want to collect it at least 3 locations. So we felt that that was sufficient for our purposes here. In terms of trip generation, it may be more important, perhaps more realistic, to talk about the actual delta over what's there, if you will. Obviously, the site, there's existing commercial entities on the property now, and based on our calculations, during the weekday AM peak hour, it's virtually a wash, and no pun intended with that. We're talking about a single-digit increase in peak hour traffic in the AM. Weekday PM peak hour, we're actually expecting a decrease over what is presently there. Our largest overall delta would be during the Saturday midday condition. We're expecting about a 95 vehicle increase over what's there presently. So based on that order of magnitude, we don't think that there would be any significant alteration to prevailing traffic operations. As was indicated earlier, and I do appreciate staff for the additional information that was conveyed to the board regarding our DOT discussions. The board, DOT felt fit to issue a permit for this project back in March. Obviously, we wanted to get DOT's opinion as well, since the matter with the cross-access connection with Applebee's is, I guess, still a matter of potential discussion. And we received finally word today that DOT was satisfied and that they felt that the original permit was still valid for this project. So sorry, I might have given you a little bit more information than you asked for there, but again, I just wanted to provide some slightly additional context to that. So
thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Any questions from members of the public, either present or online? Please come forward, give your name and address for the record, and make your comments or ask your questions.
Good evening. My name is Bonnie Beam. I'm the pastor at Journey Church, which is at 5 Tinkham Ave, just one building over from the proposed site. And we currently have an off-site sign that's on the corner of Tinkham and Manchester that we were told that area belonged to that building, and so we've been paying rent for that space to have the sign out there. I don't know what is proposed for that sign. We would like to keep our signage down there, just to help people find us down on Tinkham Ave. The gymnastics studio, Palestra, is also, they have a sign on there on our posts, and I know they have expressed the desire for that sign to continue. We have the Salvation Army that has recently moved into our building and is operating there, and they would like to have some road front signage as well. And the quilt shop down the road that just moved in last summer would like to have that. So our major concern is just that we would still be able to have signage there somehow. And I don't know if that's going to be removed. It is our sign, so we'd like to have it back if it gets removed, that kind of thing. So that's one of our concerns. Another, which I think you may have addressed already, was water flow, just knowing that the amount of water that is going to be used by a car wash, if that would impact any of our businesses on that street as far as water pressure or anything like that. And then the concern over that left-hand turn at the end of Tinkham, which already is quite challenging at peak hours, and to have a lot of additional flow of traffic trying to get out there would be really difficult. So I might request that the town of Derry do something about that area, if there's a traffic light maybe that could get put in or something. We're just have concern about that.
So typically traffic lights on state roads are under the control of state.
Oh, okay.
But with respect to traffic flow, you heard the applicant indicate that most times of the day they're going to be at parity, very close to existing, and the only major increment was midday on Saturdays. Mm-hmm. So what is the traffic flow, without asking for an engineering survey, just your perception of when is the busiest time for your church and the other businesses you're speaking for?
Well, I can speak for our church that it would be Sunday mornings. Midday would be our time of our peak time. I know for the gymnastics studio in the late afternoon and into the evening, when they have classes that end or start, there's a much heavier flow of traffic down Tinkham and trying to get in and out of the end there. And that's during the weekdays.
So probably not a major overlap in timing, but...
Probably not. I mean, I would assume the car wash would be open on Sundays, so they might have a peak.
Yeah, well, you can ask them to when they come back to comment specifically on that as well.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's much that the planning board of the town can do with regard to traffic control devices on a state road, so we're kind of at the mercy of the state in that regard, and they don't like to put too many stoplights close to each other. I know that.
I understand that would be quite congested.
Do you have any additional insight, Mr. LaRue?
As far as traffic flow, I am concerned about queuing at Tinkham Ave during peak periods. I'm still concerned about not having that easement, and I think it's important to encourage the owner to continue to seek that out, because right now is probably not the peak condition, but I know with 4A opening in full swing in the coming years, trying to take a left-hand turn out there is going to be extremely difficult most times, I think. And, we've talked about this in staff, it's important to try to have connectivity with other businesses, as far as getting people in and out of sites and getting them into better positions to be able to access a signalized intersection or anything of that matter. Just trying to move traffic in that way, trying to spread it out, because obviously the ideal pattern here would be right in, right out of Tinkham Ave, and similar to the other car wash where we were just talking about, it's a right in, right out kind of scenario. If you have the opportunity to have traffic go to a signalized intersection, that's ideal.
So I'm going to show my ignorance here. I haven't been down Tinkham Avenue anytime recently. Are there any quote-unquote back road access options for people who don't want to wait in the queuing? Because I can imagine a left-hand turn onto Manchester Road in the post-4A condition, an unsignalized intersection could be challenging.
Yep.
It is a dead-end road, so there is no other entrance or exit.
Okay. I'll invite the applicant to come back up and maybe address some of those concerns from your butter.
Certainly. So, Bonnie, I think I heard 3 general questions. 1 relates to signage, 2 relates to water, and 3rd relates to the desire for a traffic light. I think we talked through the traffic light option in terms of what I heard. It's a state jurisdiction, and I'll leave that up in terms of whatever future planning may allow for that. So let me talk to the first 2 comments that Pastor Beam said. First, relating to water, we have done the calculations. I think the staff has agreed that there will be no adverse impact from our water use to the area, which leaves the only issue of the, as we call it, off-site signage. That sign right now is within the state right-of-way. It's not on our property. However, while I'm not a huge fan of quilting or gymnastics, I do encourage people to go to church. So what we like to do is to accommodate the request for all of the tenants, if zoning would allow it, to put their sign on our pylon sign below our sign. So rather than have this, what you currently have, we'd be happy to have all 3 of those tenants on our sign if zoning would allow it at our cost, to be a good neighbor and to encourage what you currently have, which are people going to the businesses.
Is there signage in the review package? I didn't notice. We talked about that.
I'm looking for it too.
Sorry, there is for Washville, there is a proposed ID sign location. It's on the corner of Tinkham and...
Do you know what sheet that's on?
Let me look. On the site plan, if you look in, on the right-hand side.
Oh, here it is.
Yep, right there. Yep. And then you can see, if you look right up where the pin is on the corner, just to the right of that, you can see the gray outline of the existing sign for Journey Church in Palestra.
Okay, so the plan is to remove the existing pylon sign that's in the state right-of-way?
Correct.
And as to zoning, do we have any issues with off-premise signs?
Typically with an off-premise sign, you need to have a lease agreement with the property owner, and that had been secured originally. I think everyone, until this survey was done, believed that that sign was located on the, I still call it the Dial-A-Drug property, at that business location. So I believe that we just need to do sign permits for that. If there's anything additional, I will reach out.
Yeah, we'll be happy to participate in any document that's needed to make that legal, and be happy at our cost to include them on our sign.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the public, either physically present or remote?
Chair, seeing your eyes online.
Okay. Back to the board.
We just had a quick question on the hours of operation. Is it a 24/7 type operation?
No, it's not. Let me just take a moment and talk about the operation. So the hours are Monday. Oh, okay. It's also on the plan, but I'll just sort of, it's okay. It's Monday through Saturday, 7:30 a.m. to 7 p.m., then Sunday 8 to 5. Our operation is fully staffed, so typically between 3 to 5 employees will be on site at all times. There's no self-service, so it's different than others. In other words, we have this single tunnel. The vacuums are not operational when our facility is closed.
Oh, okay.
If there's excessive noise from people vacuuming their cars, we have employees that politely walk over and ask them to not be as loud. But it's a completely different operation than others in that regard. So.
Very good. Thank you.
And as to the architecturals, it seemed appropriate to me for the Industrial 2 district, and I assume that's your corporate look?
It is, and, you know, we found it appropriate. It's a gateway to Derry, and we realized that with that designation, you want to try to find a balance between, you know, an appropriate appearance for commercial use. That is our corporate look. Could we call it the elevation? Would that be possible?
Yeah, I think so. Owen, would you mind putting the architectural back up? Thank you.
I'm not sure who was managing. I'm looking the wrong way. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's the video guy who's managing it.
All right.
I think it's right near the end.
Should be the end.
Yeah.
At the very end.
19.
There you go.
There we go. This is generally our corporate look. It's been modified to respect the design criteria that Derry has. For instance, the articulation has been modified to break up the long wall. A tunnel by its nature is a long rectangle that has plenty of opportunity to be boring. And we added a lot of breaks along that wall. We've added canopies. We've defined the customer entrance, used various materials. So it is our modified corporate image to respect the design criteria as our architects interpreted it.
Okay. All right, any other questions?
I have a question. You said be fully staffed, 3 to 5 employees. I'm seeing 3 parking spaces, one of them being a handicap spot that you had stated would be employee parking. So I'm just wondering if parking will be adequate.
We have found that it is adequate. You know, again, we prefer not to put out more pavement than we need there. Some of those employees don't drive. Some are, you know, high school, some live locally, some commute with their friends. So we have 28 of these facilities that we operate. In our experience, we don't need 3 to 5 parking spaces for our employees. And in an interest to reduce pavement, that's why we have proposed what we have.
Okay.
All right, if there are no more questions, then maybe a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by O'Connor, seconded by Pelletier to close the public hearing. Everyone in favor say aye. Aye. Public hearing is closed, so we will now move on to discussion of waivers.
Mr. Chair, would we like to take both these waivers together?
Why'd you take them separately?
All right. Mr. Chair, I move to grant a waiver from LDCR Section 170-67B1 to allow the dumpster to be located 5.5 feet from the north property line where 25 feet is required. After review of the waiver request, the board finds that specific circumstances relative to the plan or conditions of the land in such plan indicate that the waiver will properly carry out the spirit and intent of the regulations.
Second.
Moved by Mallory, seconded by Pelletier to grant a waiver for the dumpster. Any discussion? If not, Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Minovini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Chericello?
Yes.
Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. And then the other waivers in the appendix, right?
Yes. Mr. Chair, I move to grant a waiver from LDCR Section 170-65C to not require the stormwater design to achieve 50% removal of total nitrogen and total phosphorus. After review of the waiver request, the board finds that strict conformity to the regulations would pose an unnecessary hardship to the applicant, and the waiver would not be contrary to the spirit and intent of the regulations.
Second.
Moved by Malaby, seconded by Pelletier to grant a waiver on wastewater filtering. Any discussion?
I'd like to, are you okay with this waiver, Mr. LaRue?
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult site, and you don't ever want to do exfiltration into the ground when you have contamination possibilities. And we know that there's a lot of ledge there too, so it's not like it's going to work either.
Okay. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Minivini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Churchill?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Mallaby?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. And on the architecture?
Mr. Chair, I move to find that pursuant to LDCR 170-85, that the application as presented demonstrates substantial compliance with the architectural design regulations. This property is located in the Industrial 2 zoning district and meets a medium-high level of compliance as outlined in Section 170-84.
Second.
Moved by Mallaby, seconded by Pelletier to grant, to make findings that the architecture meets our regs. And I want to thank the applicant for making some modifications to their corporate look to better fit in Derry. We do appreciate that.
You're welcome. We look forward to being
Any
here.
other comments?
Looks like granite at the bottom.
Yeah, are you going to go there? Okay.
Never know.
Mr. Chase?
Well, I was banned at highway safety because of a comment I made, so.
Mr. Granessi would be so proud.
Yeah, so we have a former board member who's a fetish for granite.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Send him an email, Randy.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Send him an email.
Yeah.
All right, so Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Minivini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Churchill?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Mallaby?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. And on findings of fact?
Mr. Chair, the board finds the proposed plan provides safe and efficient vehicular and pedestrian access, and the design and construction of the access ways and walkways are adequate to accommodate the anticipated volume of traffic proposed by development. The board finds the proposed parking plan is adequate for the site and meets the parking density requirements for the use. The board finds the landscape plan meets the intent of the regulations. The board finds the stormwater management as proposed is designed to control the post-development runoff so that it does not exceed pre-development runoff. The board finds the utility construction standards are met, and the board finds exterior lighting, snow storage provisions, and erosion and sediment control provisions are adequate. The board makes findings of fact as listed above.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Mallaby, second by Pelletier to make findings of fact as read. Any discussion? Not. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Minivini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Churchill?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Mallaby?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. And on the approval?
Mr. Chair, after review and deliberation of the site plan application for PID 35015-002 GR Development, the board finds the applicant has satisfied the general requirements of the Land Development Control Regulations, or in cases where the regulation cannot be met, has satisfied the waiver requirements. Therefore, the motion is to approve pursuant to the RSA 676:4 Roman 1 completed application with the following conditions. Conditions precedent. Comply with the Wright Pierce VHB review letters, subject to owner's signature. Establish appropriate escrow as required to complete the project. Note approved waivers on the plan. Obtain written approval from the planning director designee that the GIS submission is received and is operable, and it complies with LDCR section 170-61.c. Subject to receipt of applicable state or local permits relating to the project. Submission of written correspondence from NHDOT confirming they have reviewed the amended plan, which is removing the access easement to 14 Manchester, and DOT is still satisfied a new permit is not required and meets best practices for safety. Conditions precedent shall be met within 6 months. And then the conditions subsequent, subject to the on-site inspection by the town's engineer. And if a plume is hit during construction, the soils management plan will be submitted, and there will be on-site inspection by the town engineer and environmental coordinator.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mallaby, seconded by Pelletier to grant conditional approval. Any questions?
Mr. Chair, should we strike 7, or is it?
Well, that basically just asks for written evidence of the correspondence, so that seems to be reasonable to ask for. We probably have it already, so.
We do, but, so you get a condition done already.
Yeah,
wanted to check off. There you go.
Be happy to comply with that one.
Okay. Anything else?
I was wondering if we could put something under the conditions precedent about the sign issue, about putting signage for the neighboring organizations. I don't know if that's something we can do.
I don't think we can.
I don't think so. That's
think-
between
Yeah.
It's a
the
civil
applicant. We have no
agreement.
jurisdiction.
Right, okay. I was kind of
Yeah.
thinking that was likely the case, but where there was a
That's a
commitment.
goodwill gesture on the applicant's part.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, it is on the record, but it is probably not officially enforceable. So hopefully you will work out something with your neighbors, and I take you at your word there.
We look forward to it.
Anything else? No? All right, on the motion then, Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mr. Minervini?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Chercello?
Yes.
Mr. Pelletier?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Congratulations and welcome to Derry.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and we appreciate the board's time and effort, and as well as the staff over the last few months. So, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're now on to board member comments. Anyone have comments to share with us? No? Then be happy to fish for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Malaby, seconded by Pelletier to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Stand adjourned.